Is it clear? I mean, using the person let statement. Okay, so yeah, yes. Okay, so here mountain class of models or mountain class models. Okay, so I have given the title like this. Then we can replace the title also like this. Mountain means ampersand C, class is ampersand B, and the models is ampersand A, right? Like this. Submit, you will get the, I mean, because you have, it is in single quotes, right? So the single quotes cannot work here. So use the double quotes. Now see, it's giving. Then even you can replace like this percent, let d equal to, so I'm using these three here like this. Then here you can use ampersand d, then it will work. So it's giving the same out. Means we can replace a word or we can replace the complete statement also or complete sentence also using the macros. It's clear. Then yesterday I told you about the automatic macro variables also, title 2. Okay, so program created by sys user id on sys day sys date 9 dot at sys time. Like this you can use the automatic macro variables. Submit it. Now you can see the mountain class models and the program created by SAS admin on Friday 4th February at 1932. Okay, it's giving like this. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Yeah, it got disconnected or what? I mean, it, not disconnected, right? Okay, that's fine. And sorry for the trouble actually. So I think this is the last day for the big batch. From tomorrow onwards, I split it to like 2 or 3. That's it. Okay. So uh, okay, up to this it's clear, right? Now, how to check the automatic macro variables and the user defined macro variables? Okay, you can check like this. Fine. Percent. See, whenever you use the put means what's the difference between the input and put? Input means to read the variables, right? Put means to write. So here, if you use the percent put, it writes to the log window. Percent put underscore user underscore. Then it will give you the user defined macros in the log window. See, I created these, right? A, B, C, D. A equal to model, B equal to class, C equal to mountain, C. I created the 4 global macros so that it is displaying in the log window. Okay. So if you use percent put underscore automatic underscore, then it will display the existing when SAS defined automatic macro variable list. Okay. See here we used SAS user ID. Then SAS, system user ID, system time we used, right? Then like this we use system day we used, system date 9 dot we used like this. Okay. So we can use the automatic macro variables also. If you want both, then percent put underscore, then all underscore. Then it will give you the all macro variables. One is the SAS defined, the second one is the user defined. Okay, it is how to check the automatic macro variables and the user defined automatic macro variables. Okay, now let us see how to create a macro modular code. Here what we did, just we replaced a word or we replaced a statement, but here we can replace the complete step also, either the data step or the proc step or both steps also we can replace, okay, using a macro modular code. Okay, okay, let me show you with an example. Okay, let us take the same example then. So let us take the same example here. So models print it. Okay. So while printing, I have taken only the track, class track. See, proc sort by class. After sorting, where class equal to track, because I selected the track. In the previous one we selected the mountain, right? But this time I selected the track. Okay. Okay. Let us suppress the date and time options. No number, no date. Submit it. Okay. Now I want to replace these two steps using a macro. Okay. This is using a creating a macro modular code. Creating a macro modular code. So here I want to keep these two steps in a macro. Percent macro Usha. At the end, percent MEND means macro end Usha. Like this, you need to include the two steps. That is how many lines? 3 plus 3, 7 lines are there, including the run statement. Totally 7 lines we are including in a macro. Then select submit it. After submitting, it creates a macro catalog, SAS macro catalog. Okay, open it. You can see the Usha here. Okay. Means we created a macro catalog with the name called the Usha here. Then after this, no need. Just remove this one, because we stored the 7 lines of the code or the 2 steps of the code in the form of the Usha. Right? Then whenever I want to run those 7 lines, then just use percent Usha. Okay. Then select submit it. See, it is giving this out. Right? Means this is equal to the 7 lines. Right? Percent Usha is equal to the 7 lines. Is it clear? See, percent Usha. Select. Okay. Submit it. It's giving the output. Why? Because we created a macro, okay, with a name called the Usha. So this is existing in the work library. So that is giving the output, and no need of this one, because once we created the macro here, then no need of the coding, right? Because using this code only, we compiled a macro, right? We compiled a macro and we stored that macro in the work library. But if you remove this, for example, if you remove this Usha and then submit Usha, see, you won't get the proper output. I mean, you won't get the output actually. See, submitting. See, you are not getting. And log window shows apparent invocation of macro Usha not resolved. Means there is no such macro with the name Usha, because we removed that compiled macro. Okay, so this is the macro code. Then the one which it creates is called a compiled macro. Means, see, when you submit this, what happens? It compiles a macro and that will be stored in the work library. Then once the compilation finished, then submit it, it will give you the output. Okay, when you submit the Usha, then it means that we are submitting these 7 lines of the code. It's clear, right? So it is, I mean, here what we did in the previous one using the let statement, we just replace the word or we just replace the statement. But here we are replacing 2 steps, right? Proc sort and as well as the proc print we are replacing. Not only the 2 steps, so you can replace so many lines also. Okay, and we can use the macro not only in the proc step, we can use it in the data step also. So you can use the macro modular code anywhere. Clear? Then creating a macro modular code. Now let us see one more example. Creating a macro modular code with keyword parameters. Keyword or okay, let us keyword parameters. So what's the keyword parameter? So here instead of Usha, I'm using some other name. Okay, some Sujit. So because already there is a macro with a name called the Usha, right? So that is the reason I don't want to disturb that one. Okay, I want to keep the compiled macro Usha as it is. Now I want to create a new macro that is with the name of this Sujit. MEND means it's a macro end. It's a starting. So without using the name also here, it will work. It will work. But sometimes when you write some embedded macros like 20 or 30 macros, then we can't understand where it started, where it ended. So that is a good habit to give the name always. The starting should be the same name and the ending should be the same name, so that we can think that it is a one macro. Okay. Then yeah, now here I will show you how to add the keywords. Here I'm using a equal to models, comma, b equal to class, comma, c equal to track. Okay. Then here I want to make the a equal to models, b equal to class, c equal to track. Okay. Then in the place of models, use ampersand a, just like the let statement. B equal to class, here ampersand b, and models, right, ampersand a, and here the class is there, so ampersand b. Track means ampersand c, right, ampersand c, and make them as a double quotes. Then here track, what is the track, ampersand c, then bicycles, there is no code. Okay, then so keep it in a double quote. Okay. Now remove this. Okay, after removing, now select, submit it. What happened? It creates a macro with a name called the Sujit. Okay, but percent Sujit, submit it. Submit this one. See, it's not giving anything. See, when you submit the Sujit, it's not giving anything. Why? Because there is no data here, right? We just added the parameter. That's it. We just added the keywords, but we are not passing any parameter. I mean, this is called the parameters, right? So a, b, c is a parameter, so we are not passing any keywords to those parameters, right? So proc sort data equal to ampersand a. What is ampersand a? We are not given any value. It's an empty macro. It's an empty one. So while invoking, then pass the parameters like this. A equal to, what is a equal to, models, b equal to class, c equal to track. Okay. When you pass the parameters to the keywords, then it will give you the output. Okay. So here we are asking the track, so that is giving the track and track model bicycles. For example, if I want the mountain, okay, then instead of track here, just write the mountain. That's it. Mountain, submit it. See, now it's giving mountain model bicycles, and the mountain type only it's giving. Because initially we created empty one, right? So as per our requirement, we pass different parameters to the keywords and we will get the result. Okay. For example, if I want the only the aluminum frame is aluminum, then generally how our program, I mean, how do we write our program generally? Where frame equal to aluminum, right? So where frame equal to aluminum means B should be the frame and C should be the aluminum, like this. Where frame equal to aluminum, ALUMINUM, submit it. See, aluminum model bicycles, and you are getting the aluminum frame. Okay. See, even it's changing the titles by default. See, mountain model, track model. Got it? Is it clear, Risha? Because initially we created an empty one, that's it. Okay. Later we are passing the parameters. Okay. Based on the parameters, and it will give the output. Now tell me, I want this trade win. Then how can we write a program? Where to make the changes? What's the trade win? Where model equal to trade win. Right? Where model equal to trade win. Then where model, this should be the model equal to trade win. Trade win. That's it. Now it will give you the only, see, trade win model bicycles, and it will give on the trade win type. Like this. It's clear. Now here you can observe one more thing. Okay, let us take this trade win. copied. Here a equal to models, right? So if you write this a equal to model here, okay, and submit it, it will give you the same output, because though you are changing the position, the meaning never changes. A is always the models only, B is always the model, C is always the trade win. So if you keep this here, okay, and submit, it will give you the same output, right? It will give the same output. Though you change the position, so it won't affect the output, because always the B is model, right? C is equal to trade win only, and A equal to model only. Here the position, it won't, I mean, the position is not important. When you are using the keywords, then the position is not important. Okay. Okay, now let us take the same one here, creating a macro modular code with the positional parameters. This time here the position is important, positional parameters. Here instead of Sujit, I will use another name. Okay, let us use the SAS macro. Then here also Mamta. Then I am using the same keywords and everything. Okay, but instead of a equal to, I just use ABC. That's it. I don't want to use the equal to sign. Then submit. What happens? It again creates a macro with the name called the Mamta. Then while invoking percent Mamta, then what is the meaning of A? A should mean proc start data equal to models, right? I want to start the models only. So models. No need to give the A equal to. And by B. What is by class? I want by class. So class. Then where B equal to C. What is the C? Where class equal to aluminum, let us, or chromo. So chromo. Submit it. Then it will give you only the models. Sorry, where class equal to, right? So B equal to C. So class equal to chromoly. There is no class equal to chromoly, right? Class equal to road. Sorry, road. Then submit. Now it will give you the only the road type. It will give you only the road type. Clear? So here we are not using any keywords, right? A equal to, B equal to, C equal to. We are just passing the parameters to those keywords without using the keywords. But here the position is important, because A is the first position. So that model is related to A. Class is a parameter for this B. Road is a parameter for this C. But if you change the position like this, then will it work? No. Then submit it and see. See, in the log window, it will give an error. Variable road is not found. Variable road not found. Okay, so it's a difficult. So that is the reason. It should, the position is very important here. See, it's a road. Is it clear up to this? If it is clear, then we can move to other topics. If not, I will explain you this again, because it is a very important one. It's clear, but I mean, once you practice, then I mean, you will get a good understanding of this. Okay, so initially what we did, we just replaced a word, right? Then later we replaced the statement using the let statement. Okay, later we replaced the complete step, or the multiple steps or multiple lines using a macro. So this is called creating a macro modular code. So in this we didn't use any keywords, okay, and we didn't pass any parameters. Just we kept the total code in a macro. So whenever you want that code, just submit that macro, then it will work. Okay. Then here what we did, here I created an empty macro using some keywords, right? This is nothing but creating a macro modular code only, but with keyword parameters. Okay, so we used a keywords. Then it's empty one, but while invoking, so whatever the values you pass, then those will be replaced in those places, and it will give you the output. Okay, then here the position is not important. Then creating a macro modular code with positional parameters. So when you are using the keywords, okay, I mean, you can use the keywords, even you can use the equal to, no problem. Even if you can use the equal to, okay, nothing will happen. But while invoking, you are not using the keywords. Okay, then even See, even if you are not using the a equal to, you can use the a equal to, no problem here. A equal to, b equal to. I mean, if you want to change the position, then keywords are must. See, if you submit it, it will give you the same output. But if you change this one, now it will work. See, still it's working. Okay. If you are not using the keywords, okay, if you won't use the keywords, then the position is important. Clear? Yeah. I think Sujit got disconnected because he started the call, right? Okay, then. It's clear up to this, right? Okay, then. Okay, then. Okay, let us see the functions then. There are some macro functions. There are some macro functions. So what's a macro function? Okay, let me explain you this. See, x equal to 10. Percent let x equal to 10. Okay, so percent let x equal to 10. Okay. Then how can you find out the value of x? Use the percent put x. Then it will give you as 10, right? The value of the x is 10, right? Because x equal to 10 means if you want to know the value of x, then use the percent put. It will display the value that is 10. Okay. Now percent let y equal to ampersand x plus 10. Then what will be the value of y? See, what will be the value of y here? Percent put ampersand y, right? It will give you the value of y, right? As a 20, but it's not giving 20. It is just giving 10 plus 10. Why? Because it won't evaluate actually, right? It won't evaluate. Just I mean, it won't add. It just replaces. That's it. It will give 10 plus 10. But I don't want to simply replace. I want the addition. I want the sum of these two. Then use a function called percent eval. Then submit. Now you got the 20. So if you want to make any evaluation, then use the evaluation function. So this is a function. So why we call it as a function? So whatever the word which we use before in bracket is called a function, right? So the how can you recognize the macro functions? Because the macro functions always start with the percent sign. Percent sign. Okay. Now percent let some z equal to ampersand x plus ampersand y plus some 10.5. Now can you tell me the value of this one? Percent put ampersand z. So it just replaces, right? This is 10, this is 20. 10 plus 20 plus 10.5 will give like this. 10 plus 20 plus 10.5, it just replaces. But if you use the evaluation function like this, if you use the evaluation function, then submit it. See, it's giving an error because when there is a decimal values, this evaluation function, it won't work. So we have to use the sys eval ref. Sys eval ref. Submit it. Now it's giving us 40.5. X is 10, this is 20, 30 plus 10.5, 40. If there is any, I mean, decimal value, then use the eval ref. If there is no decimal value, then you can use the eval. Okay. Then like this, we can use almost all the functions which we use in our basics. See, now ampersand x plus 10, it will give you 20 because we are using in a data step, right? Automatically it will do the evaluation. No need to use the evaluation function. When you are using in a data step, automatically it will do the evaluation, so that it's giving the 10 plus 10, 20. But when you are using outside, or when you are using in any macro, then that time you should use this function. Okay, then let us see this one. See, there is a lion, it's m. Okay, then if you want to know the value of m, then percent put ampersand m, then it's giving you there is a lion, right? Then you know the substring function, right? Substring means substring ampersand m means we are taking this statement, and from this one 12th line, it's a 12th place, it's a t, it's one, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. 12 means it's the starting position l, and the 4 is the width. Then it will take from the 12 to the length 4, then ampersand n should be lion. See, it's giving the lion, the value of ampersand n is lion. It is the same one, right, as we do in the base test, but here just we are using a percent sign because as it is a macro. Now upcase, upcase. See, you know the scan, right? Scan means, let's take the ampersand m. Ampersand m means there is a lion. From this I am asking the fourth one. What's the fourth one? Scan function will count the words, right? 1 2 3 4, fourth one it's taking, then uppercase, it's making this lion as a uppercase, so that it will give you capital LION. Okay, so this is a, I mean, we are using both the functions, scan function as well as the upcase function also we are using. Okay, so I mean, these are some examples of the macro functions. Okay, see, a equal to ampersand m, b equal to ampersand u, means this is the lion and this is the there is lion. Simply it will be like this. Okay, so these are the macro functions. I mean, there are so many functions. Almost all the basis functions we can use it as a macro. Okay. Now let us see the macro options. So it's very important one. See, it's a macro option. There are totally 5 types of the macro options. One is, I mean, 3 belongs to the macros and 2 belongs to the macro variable. So macro options always starts with the m. Macro variable option starts with the s. Okay. M print, no M print. M logic, no M logic. M error, no M error. Symbologen, no symbologen. S error and no S error. So these are the different macro options and macro variable options. Okay, let me tell you first the M print. So in the in the above one, we created a macro modular code with the name Usha, right? So where is that Usha? Yeah, here. When you submit it, what it gives? It gives the this one, because Usha contains these 7 lines of the code. Right? These 7 lines of the code. When you check the log, it is showing just percent Usha only. But while writing this Usha, because sometimes I may not be having this code. I may have only the compiled macro. So using this compiled macro, I am just getting this output. But I want to see what is there in this Usha compiled macro. Okay. So we have to use an option like mprint. Option mprint. Then percent Usha. Mprint means it prints the macro code. See, select and submit. It's giving the same output, but when you see in the log, it gives you the Usha contains the 7 lines of the code 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11. I mean 7. So totally it prints the Usha SAS code. I mean Usha is a compiled macro, right? So it contains 7 lines of the 7 lines of the SAS code. So it will display or it will print the SAS code of this macro in the log window if you use this mprint option. If you use no mprint option, then what happens? In the log window, it won't print any the SAS code of the solution. So this is about the mprint, no mprint. Okay. I mean, anyway, I will give you the notes. All right. What's an mprint? What's a no imprint, I will give you the notes. Okay, then you can understand. Just it's a single line notes only, or let me write it here. One second. So macro and macro variable options. Just one minute. Mprint means it prints the SAS code of macro in the log window. Okay, then mlogic. Mlogic means it prints the logic of the macro in the log window. Okay, so let me explain you what's the logic. So logic means let us take this example. So here I have a small data set, that is a class. Okay, so I have a small data set with a name called class. Then I'm writing a macro. In the macro, just see here, just observe, you can understand this very clearly. So what I'm doing here, proc print data equal to class where sex equal to male. Okay, here proc print data equal to class where sex equal to female. Okay, when you submit it, it will give you the only the female data, right? It will give the female data. When you submit this one, it will give you the male data, right? But here I'm using a condition here. Okay, that condition I'm using in a macro called gram. What's that condition? Like this I'm using. See, if system day equal to Monday, what's my system day? It is Friday. Okay, so if system day equal to Friday, then do this proc print end. When you're using do, you should end it. Else, if system day equal to Tuesday, then do this proc print female. Means if the system day is Friday, then it will give you only the male data. It will invoke only these lines. If the system day is Tuesday, then it will give only the female data. Okay, I mean I am using this condition. Okay, then I kept it in the ground. You can select submit it. What happens? It creates a macro with a name called ground. Then select and submit this ground. Then what happens? It's giving only the male data. Why it's giving male data? Because this condition is true. My system day is Friday now. So that is the result, it's giving only the male data, right? Then why it is giving the male data? I want the logic behind this. Okay, so use options m print means I want to print the the SAS code of the Kramti. Then m logic. Okay, okay. Let us do one thing. Let's clean the log. I clean the log also. Then select submit it. After submitting these two options, then again we need to submit this Kramti, right? Submit it. So when you submit the Kramti, it's giving the mail only. Now see the log window. So what the log window is showing? M logic means it started the execution, then ended the execution. And what is the logic behind this? If condition system day is Friday is true, right? System day is Friday, that is true. That is the reason it is giving only the proc print data equal to class where x equal to m title Friday report, only that's it. See, it's not printing the this one where sex equal to female. It's printing only the sex equal to male only, because here the logic is that it is showing this condition, that is Friday is true. Okay, if you use this m logic, then it gives logic behind the execution of the program. Okay, this is m logic. If you use no m logic, see, if you want no m logic and no m print and submit it. Okay, let's clean the log. Now submit the gram. So it won't give anything actually. See, percent Kranti, that's it. It won't give any SAS code and the logic. Okay, so this is no m print, no m logic. See, m logic means it prints the logic of the macro in the log window. Okay. No logic means it won't print. Then m error. M error means macro error. For example, percent silver. There is no silver, right? See, select and submit it. It is giving a warning because silver not resolved. There is no such macro with the name silver. But if I use the options, no m error, no m error, and submit it. See, it's just giving the error, that's it. It won't give any warning. Okay. If you use m error, then it gives warning along with the error. Okay. If you use no m error, then it won't give you the warning, just it gives you the error only. Okay. See, m error means it gives the warning when the macro is not resolved. If you use the m error, okay, then the same thing with the symbol. What's the SRL means that if there is no macro variable, but if you are trying to invoke that macro variable, then if you use the SRL, then it gives a warning. Okay, let me options SRL ampersand, okay, percent put ampersand t. So we never use the t. Submit it. So it is showing, it's giving a warning. That is, this macro variable is not resolved. It's giving a warning. But if you use no SRL, then it won't give you the warning. See, there's no warning. Okay, so this is macro variable option. Now there is one more option that's called the symbol gen. Symbol gen means it prints the SAS code of the macro variable. It is just like the mprint. Mprint means it prints the SAS code of the macro. Symbol gen means it prints the SAS code of the macro variable. So here we use so many macro variables, right? We created macro variables, right? Ampersand u, ampersand n. Okay, let us take the ampersand u. So percent put ampersand u, submit it. See what's happening? Symbol gen means macro variable u resolves to lion. It is giving the value of the lion. Okay, but if you use options no symbol gen, no symbol gen, then okay, submit it and later submit this one. See, it's not giving any SAS code of the macro variable, right? So these are the macro options, macro and macro variable options. Okay, symbol gen, SRL, mprint, mlogic, merror. These are all the macro variable and macro options. It's clear? Okay. Now let us see some other topics. Yeah, so this is very important one. How to store the macros. It's very, very important one. So even if you read it, you can't understand. So please concentrate on this. So okay. Till now what we did, we created macro modular code. A macros, right? Macros using a macro modular code and one using a keyword parameter, and the second one is using the positional parameters, right? Anyway, these are called the different macros we created, right? Then if I close the SAS, what happens? All the macros which we created will be deleted from the work library. then you can't use the, see if I see in this window, if I use percent Kranti, submit it, what happens, it gives the value of the Kranti, that is proc print data equal to base x equal to the little give, because I have this Kranti. But once you close the session, then I mean after reopening the session, if you submit the Kranti, it won't give, because the macro, these are called the compiled macros, compiled. So the compiled macros will be deleted so that you can't see them again. Okay. So I want to store the compiled macros permanently. So you can store the compiled macros permanently also, or otherwise you can save the code also. You can save the code. See, I want to save the this complete code. See, instead of saving this compiled macro, I want to save the code. So whenever I want, then I can get back that code, right? So even you can save the code, means saving the code is called the saving the non-compiled macro. Here we are storing a macro only, but it's non-compiled. So we can save the compiled macro, or we can save the non-compiled macro also. Okay, so there are different ways to save the macros. That is, one is without compilation, storing the macro code. There are two methods. One is using include, %include. The second one is autocollide. Okay, then I mean these are the two ways of storing the without compilation of macro. Then storing the compiled macro means this one, Kranti, Mamta, Usha, Sujit. You can save these compiled macros also using a procedure called the stored compiled macros. So there are two methods. One is storing the code directly. Then the second method is storing the compiled macros. Okay, there are two methods. Okay, let me show you one by one. Okay. So now it's clear. Even I am just deleting all this, deleting all the macros. Now we have no macros, nothing. Okay. Nothing is in our environment. Right? So this is a model. This is a model. Okay. Now dataset is model. Then I want to create a compiled macro. Percent. Just I want to create a macro. That's percent macro. Okay. Okay. Let us take any name. Okay. Percent macro. Because already we are using the names, right? So to avoid the repetition, so we can use some other name. Okay. Let's use Hari. Percent macro Hari. Then proc print data equal to model while printing where price equal to some 796. Then percent mend Hari. What happens if I submit it? If I submit it, then it compiles a macro and it will create a compiled macro, right? So I don't want to run this one. If I run, automatically it compiles a macro, right? So without compiling, just cut the code, cut it, okay. Cut the code and store that code. Okay, let us create one more window. Open another editor window and paste your code here, SAS code. Okay, then save this one in let's take the E drive. In the E drive, store with the same name of the macro called Hari. Okay, I think there is one Hari folder. What is there in this? It contains. Okay, it contains some other files. Okay, let us delete it. Okay, now okay, let us save it in the E drive only with the name Hari. Okay, Hari.sas. Then close it. So now we have no code, no compiled macro, right? But where is the code? So whenever I want to use that code, then use percent include. You are including that percent include D drive Hari.sas code. That's it. Select, submit. See, it compiled a macro, right? mean just if you give the location, that's it, percent include, then it compiles. Then percent hurry, select, submit it. So you got the output. Because I got, I mean, in that code I'm having only this 796, where price equal to 796. Got it? Means we saved the code, that's it. We saved the macro code. So whenever we need that code, then give that location where we saved the code. Okay, then automatically it compiles. Okay, then after compilation you can use that macro. Is it clear? If it's clear, then I will go to the next one. Is it clear, Pratyusha?
Yeah, it is clear.
Okay, but anyway, you need to practice. Okay, I mean, yeah, just by listening, you can't get it. I think it's clear, right? So this is using the percent include. Percent include means using percent include, we are saving the storing the macro code only. That's it. Okay. Now the second one is the autocall library. So what's an autocall library? Let me explain you. Let us take the same one. Okay, autocall library means, okay, we have the same data set. Now here I want to write like proc print data equal to model where class equal to mounted. Done. Now copy. This time I want to write class equal to track. Now where class equal to road. Okay. So I'm using three types of the codes. I mean I want three types. First time mountain, second time track, and third time road. So I'm creating a separate macros. Percent macro. Okay. So percent macro. Okay, let us give some mountain only. Mountain. Percent mend mountain. It's one macro. Then percent macro track, percent mend track. It's one more macro. Now percent macro road at the end, percent mend road. So here I created three macro modular codes, right? Then cut the first one, cut it and open a new window, paste it. Okay, then save it, okay, let us save it in the E drive only with the name called mountain. We saved that code. Finish. Now cut it, open a new window, paste it, save it with the name of the track. In the same E drive I'm storing this. Then cut it, open a new window, paste it, save it with the name road. Okay, that's it. So now we have in the E drive three types of the macro codes, right? We have the three types of the macro codes. Okay, the one is the road, the one is the track, then another one is the mountain, right? We have the three codes. Then I want the mountain. So no need to search and no need to give the percent include. Okay, just use this option. Okay, options m auto source SAS autos equal to give the location where the codes are there, macro codes are there. Okay, like this. Select it, submit. After submitting this option, then I want the mountain. Then simply that's it. Percent mountain. Submit it. See, it is giving the mountain. Okay. If I want the road, percent road. That's it. So it will give you the road type. Okay. Then percent track. Submit. It will give you the track type. Okay. Means What is the difference here? Percent include means every time you need to get that one, right? You have to include that one. But here no need. If you give that location, automatically those all the SAS codes, whatever relevant to this are included. But when you submit it, then it compiles the macro and it will give you the output. Even no need to do the compilation. Only while submitting, it compiles as well as it gives the results also. So this is called autocall library, means calling automatically. Autocall library. So calling automatically from that library means from that location. Okay. I mean, the macros is a little bit difficult only. I mean, if you can understand and after practicing only, then you will get it. Otherwise, I mean, while listening, you feel that it's easy only. But when it comes to your side, then it's a little bit difficult. Okay. So I think it's clear, right? Autocall library. Okay. Calling automatically. So this is the I mean, what we did here, we just saved the code, right? The first one also we saved the code, second one also we saved the macro code. But we can store these compiled macros also. This time we just stored the code, that's it. But I want to store the compiled macros. Okay, let us see how to save the compiled macros. Okay, now same. I have this one. Then I want to create a macro code. Percent macro Pratyusha. Then proc sort data equal to price. Sorry, model, right? Model by descending price. Done. Okay, let us add one title also. Title price list of bicycles. Okay. Then percent mend Pratyusha. Okay. So what happens if I submit it? It compiles a macro and it will be stored in a work library, right? But I don't want to store it in the work library. I want to store a macro in a location, I mean, in a defined location, not in the work library. Okay. So go to the some E drive. Okay, let us store it in the E drive. Okay, E drive directly in the E drive. Okay. Now create a library like this. Percent. The name is the Kranti. So I'm using the D drive. Select, submit it. Then what happens? It creates a Kranti. Okay, let us remove this, which contains the no data sets and nothing is there in the D drive. Okay. And we created a library with the name called Kranti. Now I want to store this compiled macro in Kranti folder. Means that is in the D drive. Got it? I mean, when you are submitting, what happens? Automatically, the macros will be compiled in the work library into a catalog called SAS macro. But I want to store that compiled macro in a particular location, right? Then use this option. Options mstored SAS mstore equal to Kranti. So it's the name of the library. The location is stated. You need to submit this. After submitting, then here you just use a word called store. Store. Select, submit it. Now in the work library, see, there is no Pratyusha in the work library because we have given this location called Kranti. Then open the Kranti. Then you can see the Pratyusha in the Kranti folder. Okay, that is nothing but it is in the D drive. So when you open the D drive, here you can see directly the compiled SAS macro is there. But here you can't open it. Here you can't open it. See, in the Kranti, you can see the SAS macro. In SAS, you can open it. It contains the Pratyusha. Right? See, in the SAS macro itself, you can't open it outside. When you open it in the SAS, then it will work. Right? Now, what we did till now, okay, then close it. We close it the SAS. See, even after closing also, you can find this catalog, SAS macro catalog here. Okay, then open the new session. Can you hear me? Okay, 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 fine. I think Shravan's call dropped. I think. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I mean, if you have doubts in macros, okay. I mean, I'm ready to explain you once again. So here we have a SAS macro catalog, right? Then I open the SAS once again. Then I want to utilize this one. How can you utilize this one? First of all, you need to bring this one into the SAS location, right? So give a library. I mean, lib name. Give any name like Usha. Then dtrav, dtrav, submit it. What happens? It creates a Usha which contains the SAS macro, which contains the Pratyusha, right? Then I want to utilize that compiled macro. I mean, now, I mean, the compiled macro which is stored got back into the Usha folder. Okay. Then we should have the data set, right? First. So this is the data set.